Hello, YouTube. All right, I think I went ahead and turned the flash on. This is actually a rare nighttime live broadcast. It is Sunday night, about 11:15, I think. Let me check the time here. Oh wait, the time is the phone. I think it's about 11:15 p.m. I'm getting ready to go to sleep here. I am in bed in the RV. And just thought I'd share with you. Some of you might be wondering how things are now that I'm in the RV because I got quiet. I've actually been doing some work. I haven't been filming as much because I'm just exhausted. I've been working roughly 8-hour days or so at the space agency because things have just been busy there. So it's basically working full time and then doing all the other stuff that I have to do on the side. So that's why a lot of the broadcasts tend to be the live ones on my drive to and from work. Well, usually from work, but not to work. It's actually you're wondering what the temperature is. What I'm showing you right now is a Polonus space heater that I bought from Goodwill for like $4.95 or something like that. It is in the 50s. I think it's like 52 or 53 degrees right now outside, and actually kind of chilly in the RV. I know some of you are in much colder environments than me, but it was cold enough that I was starting to shiver in here. And I was like, man, I had like a space heater. Remember the episode in the van that I bought? The space heater, the electric one? Except I don't know where that went. I don't know if I have it somewhere in this RV or if I gave it to my wife to take with her where she's staying. I can't remember. Because, one of the problems with switching back and forth, moving in and out of the RV, the hut, the apartment, um, the van, the RV again, everything's like all lost. But anyhow, I had picked this up a couple months ago when it was still hot, when it was summer. Probably about 3 months ago, I picked this up. And I saw it for $4.95 or something. I decided to buy it to try it out. But it's really nice. And it's a little space heater. Runs off 120 volts. I don't know if you can see the fan spinning there. There's coils there. And you just basically plug it into an outlet here, which some people say you shouldn't plug in an outlet like this, but I'm not planning on running this all night. I'm just heating up the air inside the bedroom of the RV right now before I go to bed. I actually don't recommend running something like this all night because a fire could happen. All it takes is overheating, and then this thing melts and things can just catch on fire, and you could be asleep, you know, and gone. So I basically am running this right now to warm up the air. I had my jacket, as you can see on the wall there, because it was so cold in here. I was shivering. I even had my socks on. But now that I've been running this, let me turn it off to show you how it works. But basically, you can see it's got like a bunch of metal coils on the inside there. The coils heat up, and this is essentially a fan. It's just a fan, and it blows air through, so it pulls the air from behind there, which is the cooler air. What it starts to warm up as you go along because it's the same air circulating inside the space. So it'll take the air in, blow it through, draw it through the coils, and heat it up and blow it out at you. And this is so efficient. I got this for $5 at Goodwill. I looked them up online. I think you can get them for like $20 to $25, and it's 1500 watts. Usually you can tell how much power is used underneath most devices or by the plug somewhere. But this one says it's 120 volts, AC 60 hertz, 1500 watts. So it's quite a lot of wattage. Could you run something like this in a van? 1500 watts, you would probably require a 2000 watt inverter, and you would go through your batteries extremely fast. So if you had a house battery and you try to run this off a house battery system, it wouldn't work. It might run for like 10 minutes, and then, or even maybe not even that. But you'd end up using all the battery power that you have in your house battery. So I wouldn't recommend it for that. But for a situation where you're able to have a plug, 120 volt access, this thing is awesome. Let me turn it back on just because I'm going to be going to bed soon. I'm going to shut it off because I don't want to leave it on. Now, you're supposed to, according to this thing, underneath it says you're supposed to have 3 feet in front of it and 3 feet behind it. It's like 6 feet of space all around it. I don't have that much room. I think this whole RV is like about 8 or 9 feet. I think it's about 8 feet wide. So trying to put it in the middle here somewhere, I don't really want to do that. So I figure because the back here, it's not hot on the back side right there. It's actually cold. It should be okay facing that. And it's just this front side that's hot, and it's blowing hot air right at me right now. And it feels really good. So good that, look at this. I don't have to have my jacket on. I had my jacket on earlier. But you can see the TV is up and running. They're running Seinfeld. This is just broadcast television. And, oh, we caught a kiss. Oh, and George caught the kiss. Anyhow, this is just regular TV. It's over the air, HD TV. But I just use I don't really watch too much TV, honestly. I just had it on today because I was chilling in here. But you can see it's just an antenna TV. And I get a lot of channels and stuff through it. So the RV is a lot like a house. I am still in process of cleaning and trying to build stuff. I don't know if you can see, I have built a little per Hut 2.0. Remember Hut 2.0 had that little nightstand where it had a one piece, in the center holding everything up. This is a little bit out of focus because it is low light in here. It is dark outside. There's light in here, but it's really not that much light. Even though to the human eye, it looks like there's a lot, but in here, it's actually not that bright. But you can see, I just took I bought a board here. I think it was like $15 from Home Depot. No, it was $9. It was $9 and something cents. It's a shelving unit, one of those MDF board thingies. And then what I did was I put some. Let me see. I'm doing computer nerd stuff because I'm trying to get my computer stuff going. But anyhow, I don't know if you can see the hinges there. I basically used two hinges, one hinge here and one hinge on the other side, so that this thing can actually fold down along the wall. So it can go flat along the wall, but you're like, well, what about that piece in the center? Well, originally I was debating how to hold it up. I could put legs here and have it removable and whatnot. But then I figured I'll make this semi-permanent. It's mostly going to stay up, even though the items on it will have to be secured, when you're traveling, because things will fly unless I screw them all in. But what I did on the top was I just cut a beam here, and I have it tilted so it's kind of sliding down a little bit, so that if things kind of slide, they slide towards the wall, not all over the floor. But you can see I just put one simple little screw in there. And all I have to do is unscrew that, then that beam in the center comes down, and the whole thing collapses. It folds down out of the way. But I figure even when traveling, I might leave it up, although I'll have to clear this or bolt things down somehow. I also have this little shelf that I made for books and stuff like that I bought off. This is like from a kid's room, and the floor is like uneven, so I had to do some weird stuff there to make it work. But basically, it's just a little bookcase to hold library books and things like that. The battery unit I recharged again. I had let it drained out, so battery might actually be dead, even though that thing was new when I bought it from the hurricane. As a temporary emergency house battery pack. Right now I have it hooked up for the fan, so if I want to run the fan, I can run it through there. I also have two USB chargers on there, so I'm charging a backup phone battery. What else? On the other side, you can see I've got an actual lamp, a 120-volt lamp that I bought from Goodwill again. I think I paid like $4 or $5 for it. Decided I wanted a lamp because in case I don't have the overhead light, which I have on right now. But normally I don't have the overhead light on at night because it's so bright in here with that light. I have it on just for filming, but by having a lamp like this, it's got like a little, whoops, my little phone holder thing twirled. I got it on the selfie stick. But anyhow, you can see it's got this little switch so I can turn it on and off. I just turn it off, and I just turn it back on. So basically, it's like a house. So the room looks a lot. If it looks a lot like Hut 2.0, it's because this is like Hut 3.0. But basically, the RV, I haven't fully finished cleaning. I still got a lot of work to do. I've just been like so exhausted lately. But this is what it looks like. It looks a lot like the Hut did. It's got the bed with the little thing on the side, except that here I've got a table that I've made that can actually, be removed. And I cleaned most of it. I have a little computer here, sort of a computer. This was the computer I bought for like $10, I think, Oh man, I must have left it on. It looks like I left it on. Let me see if it's on. Yeah, it's still on. I wonder if I wonder if I have this thing on still. I wonder if it's been on all this time. I can see the sorry about that. I can see the power light here. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little out of focus. Sorry about that. But I can see that it's out of focus, and I can see that the blue light is on. So that is on. The TV was actually on. I mean, not the TV, the computer was actually on. So let me try to see if I can get the computer on. I had it running Linux. I have it running, I think I went with Knockpix 8.1. I'm trying to get 8.6 downloaded and installed, but haven't gotten it completely done. So let me go to menu and go down to, I have it on VGA input. This is the VGA input. And it looks like it's crashed. TV's muted because sound was touched through the system, but see that little mouse there? And I don't have a mouse hooked up. Yeah, the system has... Oh. Hey, it's Shania. I had music running. So the sound is actually not coming through the TV. It's coming through this little... Where did it go? Wow. Yeah, I had like basically a couple hundred songs. And you can see there's a little portable music box there. The same one that was in the Yurt. Do you guys remember Yurt 2.0? The one that was made out of the blue tarp, the plastic tarp thingy that I actually lived out there in the compound in. And I had that radio. This is the same radio. So I have the sound output from the computer hooked up to that. And normally it's going to be mounted up so that, you know, I have nice sound. I'm not sure I'm going to pipe the sound throughout the whole RV. I could, but I figure when I have it back here and I turn it on loud enough, I can hear it up front. Now the front is kind of not done either. You know, just a quick tour. I wasn't really planning on doing a tour, but I figure you guys, it's been so long since you had the update. Let me turn on some lights here. So my son's here. It's a mess up there. But he basically sleeps in the overhead cab when he comes to visit. And, you know, there's a TV, the TV that was also bought from Goodwill that he can watch up there. I do have the TV monitor here. I mean, it's like, for being an RV, I've got like 3 or 5 different TVs. I don't know. This is ridiculous, but that's how it is. So he can have his own TV there. I have a TV monitor here. Not really so much a TV, but a monitor that runs off my little mini notebook. So this still needs to be straightened out, this section. I'm still in process of cleaning. And but it's a little work area, and I can do work out here, watch TV or play games, you know. But it's still a mess. And you can see I have some different colored papers and stuff there. That's for the studio that I'm developing. I'm developing a mini studio for YouTube, so you'll get to see that in future episodes. Really cheap, using, you know, cheap materials and stuff. But hopefully the videos that are produced won't look cheap. They'll look nicer than what you're currently seeing, which is, you know, just me walking around and stuff. Because we're going to have a kind of a studio setup where I can film things. But you can see I've just been cleaning. Haven't really done too much as far as fixing it. You know, I've been mostly working the space agency job. It's been wiping me out. Now the bathroom, I still have not fixed. Other than, you know, I don't know if you guys saw, I had done the roofing on the bathroom. I put up the roofing, but I haven't painted it yet. And, oh man, mold's forming here. I just noticed this. If mold's forming here, that means there's a leak. Or moisture's getting in somehow. I'm looking at watermarks. Well, guess what? Or it could be coming in because that's open. What the heck? See, I leave this open to vent the bathroom so it doesn't smell. But I'm wondering if because of air conditioning, moisture is forming here. I can see there was a little, hey, this thing shut off. It just blew a circuit. Yeah, it blew the circuit. Did you see that? The heater just blew the circuit. How do I know? Well, hang on a minute. Well, this thing is still on, but it shut off. But my circuit light here for this power circuit, I guess that heater was pulling too much. So, let me reset it. Nope, this whole circuit's blown. That's not good. Well, now, we're gonna have to figure this out. The fact that this reset is not blown means that the circuit is probably blown down here somewhere underneath the bed. I gotta find that circuit now. Oh man, wasn't planning on doing diagnosis and stuff, and I'm probably gonna shut it off here because it's late at night and I'm not gonna deal with it right now. But it's one of these fuses or whatever in here on the control panel. Either a circuit, yeah, I think I see the one that blew right there. Do you see the blue one on the end there? How it's lower than the others? I think that's all that blew, not the actual. What I'm talking about is on the right-hand side. Those are fuses, but I don't think a fuse blew. I think the circuit panel, see on the left-hand side, it's got the green, the red, and then a bunch of blues. One of those blue switches is down, which means it's tripped. So let me try to deal with this. Kind of hard to hold this, and I'm just going to reset it. Turn it off. Reset it back. All right, and the light came back on. So it wasn't like a major catastrophe. So the RV does have some safeguards to try to keep me from setting myself on fire. I'm trying to stay warm here. So this thing was drawing a lot. 1,500 watts. I know a lot of people think you can heat things up. I mean, this will actually heat up the room and stuff, but you can see it blew a circuit. And thankfully, now that I know it tripped the under the bed, which is the main circuit for the RV, that makes me feel better that tripped, because that tells me that if I forget this, it'll trip the circuit and cut off the electricity before the RV burns itself down. That's what it means to me. So the circuit under the bed, which is a circuit that ties into the RV's power system that goes out to the connection to the RV park's plug, tripped. And that was supposed to happen. Now, I am surprised this thing didn't trip. This one, see, it has a red light here too. I thought it had tripped. That's what I was messing with, because it was off. If I turn it back on, it should work. See, everything's like working again. But I'm going to turn it off, or I can put it on low. So low, it might draw less than 1,500 amps. I don't know if you can hear the fan and stuff, but I'm going to turn it off because I am going to bed here in a minute anyways. So it's shut off now, and you know the light's off and stuff. But this is how I plan on staying warm. I can use this to heat up spaces. My plan is not to leave something like this on, because space heaters are notorious for catching things on fire. Now this one's somewhat safe. I mean, you know, they've got the other designs with the metal coils and stuff like that. That to me seems extremely dangerous. Like if it falls down on carpeting or some curtains or your bed or whatever. This one still could do that if something's snuck in through the little cracks and hit the metal coils. But the good thing is the circuit breaker shut off, which seems bad, but it's a safety. So I know the circuit breaker for the RV worked. This one didn't shut off. I was expecting this one to shut off before the other one, so this must be higher wattage than the, before it shuts off than the one that's hooked into the RV. But anyhow, the RV, like I said, has not had any more major work. This was a Samsung TV monitor that I bought the other day for $15 from Goodwill. But then it stopped working after a few minutes. So I suspect one of the capacitors or something went out. I tried to take it back and exchange it, but they wouldn't let me. So that it might be $15 down the tube. I may try to fix it, but I've got to try to find the right components. So, Well, the thing is, I think think this is a leak per se. The bathroom here with the situation here, even though I see a spot that might be wet, it could be leaking still. You know, I don't know if it's leaking here or not. But I don't really think that's a leak. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna have to spray this down with bleach or something to remove the mold there, because that is starting to form. It is mildew mold. So I'm glad I came in here with the light, because normally when I look in here I don't see anything. But it's probably because I have this part. I don't know if you can see it's open. I have it open, the vent. So that's why I was, when I did the video telling you guys about the bathroom trying to control the smell. This RV doesn't smell, at least not that I'm aware of. You know, the only people who would know, people who aren't normal here, and they come in here and they go, "What the heck is that smell, Denoy?" But as far as I know, this doesn't smell stinky in here because it's vented. And not only that, I normally had the fan running. See, the fan will actually blow and pull air out. But I shut it off because it's very loud. It was driving me nuts. So I shut it off, and I'm wondering if by me shutting it off, it allowed this condensation to form. So I'm going to spray this. I'm going to have to shut that vent. I'm going to have to figure it out. I'll deal with that tomorrow, not tonight. But you can see I got a pile of crap here. You can also see that I use like regular Walmart toilet paper. For those of you who are contemplating getting an RV but don't want to spend $20 for toilet paper, you know, they charge you so much for the RV toilet paper. It's ridiculous. They say because it breaks down easier. All you do is you take the let me mount this. I'm going to show you how I do it the cheap way. Okay, so you can see this. I'm using this as my little assistant here. I'm holding that and I'm mounting the thing. Okay, so this is Denoy. I'm going to bring that up here. This is now mounted. Let me mount it better. I ended up putting some tape on it. But a little lesson in how I do the tissue paper, to use regular tissue paper in an RV without spending money, you know, buying like expensive tissue paper. See, they break off into little squares. So you break off the little squares as many as you need. You know, so you don't have to use like one. you break it off instead of just wrapping it around your hand. Because when it's broken down like little squares like this, then you put it into the toilet and flush it, you know, it clog up the system. It'll allow it to flush so that you can just flush the toilet, you know, and it'll go right down there. And then you're like, what's all this water stuff here? Well, every once in a while, if you think that you have a mountain forming under there, you just take a gallon of this, put it down there, you know, about 3/4 of a gallon. Then you activate the flusher, you know, which is this handle here, and that opens up and flushes. See, there's no mountain down there because I cleaned it. But basically, you just pour this into here. So it has a bowl full of water, and when you open that up, it gushes down real fast and flushes everything. And then you continue to pour that in there a little bit just to clean it out. How often do I do that? Whenever I think I need it. Which means when I look down there and I say, hey, there's a mountain starting to form. When I say mountain, it's toilet paper and other solid waste. So, and because I'm using this RV pretty much like a house, I pretty much got the bathroom in here other than taking a shower, which isn't working yet for obvious reasons. I use it like a regular house. So I find that with one person, with me in it, I typically have to empty it about every 2 or 3 days. And if it's raining, I have to empty it more because I'm catching rainwater. You know, the leaking from coming up here through the AC vent, I'm catching it and dumping it into, you can see him mold and stuff is collected. I gotta bleach that. But basically I dump it in there to the sink and it goes into the gray water tank. So I empty the toilet and the gray water about once a day. I mean, not once every 2 days. And that's pretty much it. Now, as far as cooking and stuff, I still don't have, I do have the, this propane system does work, but I don't use it because I keep the propane off. I think there's still some propane in the system, which I might use up all of it. Because I don't like the idea of having propane. I know. You know, you're in an RV, they use propane. I don't like propane. I mean, I'm afraid of it exploding. Especially in an older system, there could be leaks. And then gases could flow in. And an electrical spark could set the whole thing off and your RV's on fire. So I like to use electricity when possible. So right now I'm hooked up to electricity, and the system's off right now. But like if I flip the switch, see how that comes on? The light comes on there. I don't know if you can see it here with this camera, but that's when I know it's on. And when I flip that, that comes on. This comes on. Now the microwave is always on. This is 120 volts. The house light systems are 12 volts. There's a fan here that I got to fix. The vent fan. I don't know if you can see the disconnection there. It needs to be rewired because it's not coming on. So I'm gonna wire that myself. That's one of my projects, is to get the vent fan wired so that I can blow it out. But anyhow, you guys are tuning in for nighttime routine. This is not nighttime routine. Nighttime routine. I usually do work on the computer. I shut off, turn off the lights. You know, let me put that on. Straighten things out. MP3s. Is an old computer that I've hooked up. It doesn't even have a hard drive. It does not have a hard drive. I have it hooked up, and it's actually reading off the two little side. I don't know if you can see the little external drives right there. It's reading off one of them, which has my playlist. But eventually, I'm going to make it so that there's a USB stick with the music and stuff like that, videos and stuff that can run on there. And sound right now is hooked through the stereo because it sounds better on the stereo than on the TV. And basically, I just use this as a media player to play music, watch movies. I was watching Shrek the other day. And that's pretty much it. I will be replacing this monitor and getting this area working, so I have a computer on this end. So I can do computing from in here in the bedroom, or I can do it out there in the living room. And you might be wondering, with only one person, why I would want that. It's so that my son, when he visits, he can work. The RV, as far as the ceiling and stuff, is pretty much, for the most part, done. I do need to paint everything. You can see there's a mismatch. Some is white, some is still that wood paneling color, because I need to paint and stuff. But I was mostly just trying to make sure the leaks are all sealed. Now I do have to deal with the bathroom to figure out if that is indeed a leak or just moisture forming. And once I'm sure everything's done, I'm going to go ahead and paint everything with elastomeric paint inside, to seal it up. And basically try to finish up the RV, it's the hurricane hit. So, other than this little table that I built over here, but I know this is having a hard time focusing here, but it gives me like a little workspace for doing nerd computer stuff where, I got work here on a computer. I don't know if you guys can see here. This is a magazine. You might be wondering what that's all about. It's actually one of my projects that I'm working on right now. So yeah, they have all these programs in there. See the program on the front cover, the artist for the Commodore 128. So look here. Look what it says. Let's see. Oh, here it is. The program is called The Artist for the Commodore 128 by Denoy. So this is one of the